Hi everybody, we're the Aunties of Inclusion. I'm Liz.
And I'm Shara, and you are here at an exclusive More Than Words podcast moment. So we have an amazing guest, so we're not doing any of our aunties moments, or no, you're not getting any of the tea of what we've been doing all day and why we look so glam, not at the moment. But we want to introduce you to our guest.
Hey, what's up, guys? Are you gonna say it?
I was gonna say, Fred, you just give your you gotta give your information.
Okay, cool. Hey guys, my name is Fred Agho. I'm a photographer in Houston, Texas. I specialize in commercial and portrait photography. Happened to become a Fujifilm ambassador recently. I'm a father of 2 beautiful daughters, and I'm a husband, and chill.
Yeah, I love that, Fred.
So listen, what they don't know is, so I beg Liz, like when we're doing a photo shoot today, okay, so I'll let y'all know.
You just said that you were going to tell them anything.
I wasn't, but I couldn't help it because I got excited.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
And obviously they can see.
I was about to say, can they see it?
Your
Friend that say
amazing,
okay.
yeah, amazing
So
video.
what we did here is, like, when we first did our launch, we wanted the amazing Fred. Fred was too busy for us. I just want to go on record. He was too busy for us. He was like, and so I got all these other celebrity people I got to handle before y'all. No, I'm just kidding. He's moving to this amazing studio. So Fred and we know each other because he was actually photographing events that I was at, and he was like always so nice to me. Like most of the time I'll be the only black person in the room, and Fred would be like, hey, what's up? I'd be like, I'm so glad we're together. We're here together in this space. So Fred has always just been that guy in the background, but always keeping a smile on the face. So I had to ask Liz, like, Liz, we got a photograph with Fred. He's amazing. So this is our moment.
No, and one, like, Fred, I've been stalking your Instagram for months since Shara told me about you years ago. And I was just like, I fall in love with every single picture over and over again. And actually, you have one of my favorite pictures in your changing room there.
Yes.
It's like, I love the yellow. It's just so spectacular. There's so much joy that comes on there. And when I had not met you, but you and I were talking on the phone waiting for Shara.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
We're always waiting for
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay. But we're waiting for Shara, and you and I were talking, and I was like, I don't really know what this conversation's for, because at that time, we had talked about all these different ideas, and I didn't know what we were doing here. So I said, Fred, I'm like, well, we want to do this event, and Fred's like, yeah, I know this and this, and I can help you with this and this, and I'm like, wow. And then we just changed the conversation, and I'm like, this guy is so genuine, and it's very... like, you don't get that many genuine people around, and just your joy and your genuineness just came through. And I don't know if that's the intent with your pictures, but it definitely, that's what speaks to me. So I want to share a little bit about, like, what inspires you? How'd you become a photographer? Just a little bit about that side of your life.
Cool. All right, so it was 19. No, I'm kidding.
I was about to say,
He took it back. He took it back. It was 1990.
I've always been like the family photographer. So my mom would, put the quick shot in my hand and be like, make sure you take photos and everything. And I'm of Nigerian descent, so we had to take a lot of photos and send them back home and everything like that. So, and I'm the oldest of 3, so I was always the one taking photos, and it just harbored into a thing that I always did. Now let's skip forward. I'm at University of Houston, and
yes, go good.
So I'm at University of Houston, and I get my first DSLR. And I just kept shooting from there, and I reached out to a photographer in Collins Matu, and he, also a Nigerian guy, and he was like a big inspiration. I wanted to, take photos like him, and there was a gentleman like Doss Tidwell. So the big thing about that was I saw people who looked like me doing something that I wanted to do.
That's big.
I didn't know what an engineer was until I got to U of H. So I didn't grow up around that type of situation. Fast forward some more years, I had been just taking photos for money. And then I kind of got into a space where I wanted to make sure I was telling like my community stories, people who look like me and things like that. So for instance, like that photo that you like, I mean, I grew up, I had a gold grill. But I'm college educated. It didn't mean that, when you see somebody with gold teeth, automatically they're a rotten person or a bad person. It's just, it's a way of expression.
Right.
Yeah, it's just expression.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to make sure that, I tell stories like that to give people perspective, that there's duality into what you see in us.
I mean, I love that. I love that aspect, because I was first generation to go to college. That's not something that was part of my family. And it's like, if you look at my brothers, we look different, right? We just have different circles, and we just look different. But they're as or more successful than I could ever imagine. And they're both like, they have they're entrepreneurs, they have their own small businesses. So I love that you're trying to take that stigma away of, this is how your certain way that you need to be looking, you can't be in this box, you know? So what's your kind of inspiration or for your photography that you do, aside from, you know, wanting to tell people stories?
As of lately, I'm been more educating, and I want to bring along the next wave. But when I'm just taking photos, like I said earlier, I just saw somebody who looked like me, and I'm like, hey, I can do that. You know, I love doing this as well. I enjoy doing this. It's something I see myself being able to do a long time versus something, you know, because at first I was going to be a pharmacist.
Really?
Yeah, I did the volunteering.
Oh, right.
Oh yeah, I was already. I was in organic chemistry 1, and I was like, I don't know.
Not my.
What a waste of creative art.
So, and then I volunteered, and I kind of got like a cold shoulder from all the pharmacists. It was crazy. It was like my friend Oliver, I call him Vet. He's Vietnamese, and I told him to, hey, come volunteer too. And he came, and they were just very receptive of him. And me, they was like, hey, go count them pills over there. And that's what I did 2 shifts, and I was like, yeah, I'm good, you know, so.
Yeah, you don't have that sense of belonging there.
Yeah, and also, you know, obviously people are just making a visual judgment of who you are and putting you in a box and making some stereotypes.
It's crazy how it kind of just came full circle, right? And you're doing your photography to show.
To elevate
that, yeah.
Well, let me just say something. So, for the audience, y'all, if y'all haven't checked out Fred's Instagram or any of it, you need to go check it out. So, Fred, give them the information so they can start scrolling while we continue this interview.
Yeah, so I kept it easy. It's just my name. It's Fredagho. Nothing cool, no splashes or slashes or nothing like that. I kept it real easy. So, like I said, Fred at Agho. That's .com. That's the website. That's the IG. That's the Twitter. That's any social profile that you want to find me at.
Well, first of all, Fred, let me just be clear. So, as we stalked your Instagram page, right? So, first of all, y'all gotta scroll. If you scroll down, the picture.
What's your favorite shirt?
Y'all know I can't wait for this moment. Okay, it's the picture that's in the dressing room that y'all was talking about. But the one is in the horse. He's got the horse.
We know that you like your horse.
He's in the meadow with the grass. And he got his gold grills. Because, you know, once again, we are who we are. And we show up. No matter if you look at us and you be like, oh, let me make an assumption about you. We got personality. We can be all things, different things. So I want to ask a question. What has been the biggest moment for you in your photography that you just feel so proud about? Like, when it happened, you knew it was like, this is it.
Okay. I'm going to do 2.
2.
So
I love this.
The little one was about 2 years ago, and I had the ability to pay other people. So I was like, all right, and I'm very big on hiring people that look like me, or from a similar background. So once I was like, yo, and it wasn't like, I'm not talking about no crazy amount of money, but it was a decent amount of money to where I was able to pay other people, and I was like, yo, I really love that I'm able to finance and help finance and create jobs for other people in creative spaces. The other one for me, like I mentioned earlier, Fujifilm. It's one of the larger camera companies in the U.S. and based out of Tokyo, and they recently made me an ambassador. Well, I'll say recently, 2-3 years ago, and that was like a stamping moment. Like, hey, we see you, we know that you're doing something right, and it also, and we all know how it works, like a cosign from somebody opens the eyes to a lot of people. So I got attention from other people. So those were 2 really big things for me.
Listen, I've been following it, all the videos, all the classes you've been running. When you opened up your studio space, I was like, okay, Fred, I see you.
I'm trying.
That's creating that legacy.
And I love the video content that you do where you're showing, like, you're teaching people how to, like, get the right lighting, because that's the one thing I love about your photographs is the lighting. So it's like, sometimes you see this person, but it's lit in such a way that you like, this person's way more dynamic than this picture can capture, and I want to know them.
Yeah, it's like you take their beauty and you just elevate their beauty to bring out the essence, because everybody looks like themselves, but just like elevated beauty. It's so powerful. So I have I do have a question. This is coming from my son.
Okay, cool.
Because I shared with you during our discovery call that he wants to be a photographer.
Cool.
He's very passionate about it.
He shares
I think we kindred spirits.
They're kindred spirits for sure. They're both creative.
We get each other.
Which I'm a Capricorn, so we kind of just don't understand each other, but we get along
you be
together.
like, how much you getting paid for this drawing? That's what you be like. I be like, it's the drawing, it's the vision.
Let him create.
Yeah. She be like,
I'm
how much?
How are we capitalizing on this? Okay, how much are you charging? Like, I'm the business side of it, right?
Yes.
Hey, you need that though.
You do need that, absolutely. But I know how he learns. He is a creative, and I want to always empower him to follow his dream. If someone wanted to get into photography and they had no clue, what would they need to do to start?
Oh, you could say the generic, get a camera, but no, just it's gonna take some time, and you gotta just shoot. Don't be in a hurry.
Okay.
If you're in a hurry, you're gonna get out of it, because one, you have to find your voice, right? So once you find your voice, and if it's purely cash, it's cool. Then you have to be like, all right, if I'm doing this strictly for money, what monetary, goal do I have with this, right? And because I'm not against people some people are like, oh, there's an art. Some people do enjoy the art of photography, and they also enjoy making money with it.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna say, hey, I'm just gonna do this for money, you need to figure out the goal, what it's gonna be, and go over that way, and that might keep you, quenched. And if you're gonna do it for the art side, you gotta figure out your voice. And once you figure out your voice, you tell your stories, and you keep going from there. And don't be in a hurry, because if you're in a hurry, like I said earlier, to get there, you're not gonna get there.
I love that.
So
I love that, because I'm so sorry.
Earlier
today when we were shooting our videos, he was like, I need to slow down.
Right. Why y'all talking?
And I talk really, really fast already. Like, I just walk through life in a hurry, basically, right? So I love that. Like, man, that kind of helped me kind of breathe down, just to slow down and chill out.
Because I like being increments. We got an hour, we gotta get the most of it. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But I got a question. So first of all, if y'all scrolling, which I told y'all to scroll if y'all ain't listening, okay? So you pick amazing locations, right? Like, I feel like sometimes your story, the locations you pick, and he's not be like, where is that? Like, you know what I'm saying? So tell us why that's important. Tell us your favorite locations, but tell us why it's important to really showcase all the various elements of Houston.
I mean, this is a one of a kind of city. You can go from dirt hills to city streets, and within 30 minutes. It's a good thing, bad thing. I live in a suburb that's 30 minutes. Say knows how to say the suburb. I don't know who be watching.
I know. I'm gonna say don't do it with them.
Because I give my government name out there. I don't really know.
But we don't know them like that.
But I live so my studio's downtown, and I live in a subdivision or suburb that's 30 minutes out. So I'm always in the car, so I see everything. I'm always looking for places. I'm always scouting, and then I put the stories that I'm gonna tell in my head, and then I just have moments where, because I do shoot stuff for clients, and then I do shoot stuff for myself, and I say, hey, this is in the me pile, or this is in the client pile. And then every once in a while, I just decide to go to the places and shoot stuff like that.
Wow.
Well, Fred, thank you so much
for
sitting down and sharing your story with us. It's so powerful and beautiful, especially after you dealt with all the craziness all day long. And then I came in halfway in there.
We put us in shape, okay? But Fred, before we go, we always want to hype up what's coming up next. So we know that you got so much going on. What's next for you, and how can our listeners support you?
Cool. All you guys in NY and LA, I got some workshops coming your way. First week of May. I'm gonna give you an exact date. First week of May, I'm gonna be in the Bronx. We're gonna do a one light workshop. You guys come on out at LR2 Studios. Just want to give you guys an opportunity to get more comfortable in the studio. The one in LA, we're gonna do it the third quarter of the year, so we haven't come up with an exact date and anything like that. Yeah, and then you can always come in. If you're in Houston, you can come shoot at Studio 1306. You can find us on IG at 1306 Studio, and you can always tap in with me. But first, tap in with these lovely ladies.
Right. Okay. Because we get here first. Okay. We already in. together. This is our space right now. Okay, we got all of this. Well, Fred, listen, it means so much to us. Listen, you are a part of the More Than Words community. We are so gracious for you to bring out the beauty that we know we have on the inside, on the outside, and we're so glad our listeners get to meet you. So please, thank you so much for your time.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Find us on morethanwordspodcast.com.